is that,
Who's fucking
is that why you keep your
talking?
knee up here? Did you get your testosterone shot today?
Right out the gate. Dude, I was so afraid to give myself a shot today.
Did you?
Because last time I did it, it like squirted out. So I was deathly afraid. And my wife did this weird thing today where she like gave me the shot.
You're very familiar with the squirting of
But she counted me into the shot. That was inappropriate. Right out the gate. Just right out the gate. Just between the opening of the Red Bull. Jesus Christ.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yeah, this is the higher standard.
We are.
We used to be about financial literacy, and now we're just a show where we make fun of each other.
Yes.
Saied, you look fat.
You look old.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That seems about appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty much off for the rest of the night. We're going to talk about some financial stuff. This is going to be a lot of stuff that we kind of foreshadowed in previous episodes, and in doing so, we've talked about a lot of the things we're going to talk about tonight, but the data is starting to come to life, kids.
Some. Not all. Some.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever. I feel like you're working against me here, but that's fine.
This is foreshadowing.
A little bit, yeah. But, I mean, all the... Okay, is everybody drinking tonight? You know what? Here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here, let's just all get... There we go. Okay.
This has turned into an ASMR podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Never understood that hype.
ASMR?
Yeah.
It's addicting.
You're into it?
No, I'm not into it, but I go down the rabbit hole on like Instagram or like YouTube every once in a while.
Really?
Like you watch one of them, you go, huh?
Huh.
And then you start going, yeah, yeah.
I remember the first time somebody showed me a channel of like some really underage kids doing stuff.
Okay, stop right
And
there.
you're like,
don't share that story.
You're like, no, this is wrong. That people are actually tuning into this stuff. It's like terrible.
No, I only watch like the cooking ones. I like the cooking ASMR ones.
Oh.
Yeah, those are cool because there's I don't need all the talk and showmanship. I just need just slap the chicken and cook it. You know what I mean? Like I don't need all the rest of the stuff.
Slap the chicken.
All right, so the Fed can't decide how much money U.S. households have left. Why? Because y'all keep fucking spending.
Yeah, exactly. It should have been done by now.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about inflation and the impact on the market. We'll talk a little bit about mortgage rates. Little spoiler alert, they're high.
Hey,
They say
trending.
high all the time.
Trending up.
High.
Oh, wow.
No?
Name it.
Huh?
Name that artist.
High all the time. I don't know.
Styles P.
Oh, fuck. That was a good call.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a throwback. It was 1990.
The Locks. Not early. No, that song was early 2000s.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go. More useless information brought to you by Saied. We're going to talk about the American economy getting ready to shift south and the migration of people that you've probably heard about moving from one state to another and how that impacts all of us and how it may be impacting the recession.
Absolutely.
There's a new surge in bankruptcy filings.
Wow, this one was alarming.
Alarming, and you called it. So this is an opportunity to say that you were right early on. Oh, God, it just says...
You don't like it. It's hard for you.
It tastes weird to say.
Why? You didn't believe that it was going to happen?
No, but if you go back to those early shows, I wasn't worried about the initial indications that you brought up because there was such a tiny, tiny increase to see where the numbers are at now.
Alarming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
You were correct.
And what that means for everybody else.
We'll talk about jobs and the jobs report, which I think is, let's see, the technical term here is bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, I call bullshit on all the jobs reports now. I'm fucking done with the jobs reports.
This is so bad.
It's such bullshit. It's unbelievable. And then we'll, if there's time, we'll talk about the FTC, student loans, and maybe some auto cost stuff.
Maybe.
We'll see if there's time.
I doubt it.
Let's jump right into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. So, according to CNN Business, the Fed can't decide how much money U.S. households have left. For those of you who don't recall, there was a lot of money put into the economy during the pandemic in this artificial interest rate deflation and this stimulus, which was unprecedented.
Right.
It caused some problems. Over the pandemic, historic levels of stimulus cash boosted household income significantly. Spending, meanwhile, was severely curtailed as the economy shut down. Remember those times?
Do remember them.
Yeah. Everybody's freaking out, working from home, don't know what to do. Do you go into the office? If you go into the office, it's a ghost town. It was weird.
Yeah, saving all this money on gas, so they started buying stuff online.
People were selling their second cars. We only need one. We're a one-car household, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I actually knew multiple families that did that.
Yeah, some people moved farther away. There were lots of repercussions. Repercussions I think we're still seeing. The article goes on to say Personal savings rates soared as a result, with U.S. households amassing about $2.3 trillion in savings.
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot.
Damn.
So in 2020 alone, and through the summer of 2021, according to Federal Reserve economists, which, you know, those are the best economists, right?
They gotta be.
I mean, well,
They keep getting it right.
Rubini,
Yeah.
economist, that's about $2 trillion more than they would have saved under normal circumstances. So $2.3 trillion in savings is $2 trillion more. They normally would have had $0.3 trillion
Right.
or 300 billion. Is that right? In savings?
Yeah.
I can do maths occasionally.
Sometimes.
So it's a stunning example of I guess the legacy impacts of what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And to set the rest of the show up, I want to set a frame.
Okay.
So, Saied, if you could close your eyes
All right.
and imagine this moment in time.
Doing it right now. Take me on the ride.
Recessions
Yeah.
typically have a cause and effect,
Okay.
a beginning and an end, if you will.
Okay.
But unfortunately, this beginning was so dynamically different than any beginning of any recession before.
Snowflake, if you will.
Like all recessions, they're a little bit different. But this one was so front-loaded on extra savings in a way that we've never experienced. I mean, keep in mind, $300 billion versus $2.3 trillion. That's normal versus the abnormal amount of savings that we had.
Ridiculous.
So perhaps consumers do have a stockpile, a war chest of money, and they're continuing to spend because they haven't felt the impacts of the recession that we've been talking about for so long, which is also possibly why the stock market's calling bullshit.
I don't even think it's just consumers. I think it's, you know,
The world?
I think it's small businesses.
Okay.
You know, I think it's because of all the stimulus packages that were sent out, there was a lot of money being sent out to businesses that were applying for like these PPP loans, right? And even though maybe they didn't need them at the time, but they were hoarding cash because why wouldn't they? In their minds, why wouldn't I? The government's giving away free money. I just got to make small payments over time.
Yeah.
You know?
People are still not paying back the student loan debt.
I mean, yeah, and the student loan debt as well.
Yeah. One of the subtitles in this CNN business article
Mm-hmm.
was "Funflation" is the term of the summer.
Who's
Yeah, that's there.
who's being allowed to coin all these terms?
I don't know. Welcome to the summer of Swiftflation and Bayflation.
Bayflation.
Taylor Swift and Beyonce have both embarked on pricey tours this season and are being blamed for inflation, inflating the prices of hotel rooms and goods around the world. Taylor Swift, it's got a $1 billion tour, the highest grossing tour in history.
I mean, to blame this on Taylor Swift, this is laughable.
Swiftflation and Bayflation.
You rolling with that?
I'm not a
This is her
Beyonce
fault.
fan.
This is Jerome Powell deflecting.
Yeah.
He's-
Jerome Powell's like, listen, how can we blame this
Let's
on
spin.
Beyonce and Taylor Swift?
We gotta spin this. How we gonna
All
spin
right,
this?
Neil, get out there and do your Kashkari thing. Go.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
Go. Yeah.
it's definitely Neil though.
Yeah, definitely Neil. Neil's out there.
Not Bostick.
God, if Neil didn't have eyebrows, I'd say he had alopecia.
What's
I'm
wrong with
just saying,
that?
like, he just
There's nothing wrong
he's
with
got a
that.
very interesting aesthetic. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. Nothing's wrong with that. I'm just saying.
I have nothing against anyone with alopecia except Jada
What?
Pinkett.
Does she have alopecia?
I mean, that's what she claims to have, right?
Doesn't look like it.
I know, not enough. Anyway,
Not enough to be slapping people. That's all I'm saying.
or getting people slapped.
I mean, she's kind of like the hitman behind the hitman, if you know what I mean.
Right.
The hit woman, I guess. All right. So we're going to get into inflation next. And all these things we've talked about have been somewhat of a lead-in to the inflation and the numbers. Saied's got a ton of data behind this. But according to Forbes, inflation keeps the housing market afloat
Mm-hmm.
for now.
For now.
Look, the tone difference there. For now.
For now.
Quote from the article. It's a long one, so you know I'm going to screw it up. However, I would regard buying a single-family home today with about the same skepticism as I would on an invitation to climbing aboard a submarine to go look at the wreck of the Titanic.
I mean,
I thought that was too soon.
honestly, like, give
Yeah.
it some time.
But the point came across. I mean, it was too soon,
I
but
get
message received.
I get
Yeah.
exactly.
I hear what you're putting out there.
I mean,
I would not have said that.
Do they make the same statement if 10 people were on the submarine?
And for the record, I am
Like-
still reading the quote from the Forbes article, okay?
Yeah.
That is not my wording.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I understand.
Right.
The author of this article, not me, goes on to say it's a bad idea.
Right.
The correction is coming.
Mm-hmm.
What we may be seeing is that all the cash flushed into the economy to keep it from going into a depression in 2020, i.e. the previous article we just read,
Right.
from COVID interventions is still stoking the human behavior, i.e. the funflation, that tends to keep economies heated up.
Right.
But the flush of cash can't continue, and at some point, the punch bowl will disappear from the party. This guy's full of colorful analogies.
So he's trying to relate.
Yeah, you know, he's like submarine popular culture
I mean, when was the
now.
last time you saw a punch bowl,
at a
bro?
party?
Come on.
That is a
That's
valid question.
that is outdated, dude. Come on.
Do people still do punch bowls?
Yeah.
I feel like they have like those weird containers.
I've actually never been to a party with a punch bowl.
Never?
Never.
Never, not even high school?
No, and you're older, so
you didn't
have.
go to dates. That's why. You didn't go on dates.
Oh, yeah, I was.
You were not that kid.
Yeah.
You were rotund.
What, dates? Wait, punch bowls on dates?
No, but if you were dating somebody, you had a date to a dance. You probably just didn't go to dances.
Dances had punch bowls?
Fun fact. I was
on the dance floor.
I never went to a dance in high school.
That's a fun fact? That's
fact.
a sad fact.
No, it's not.
So, come on. What?
Now you know
Some of
why I
my-
enjoy my time with you so much.
You get to
You're my
live now.
forever date.
Got it. You're my bro.
Yeah, I never went. It's sad, isn't it? Jesus.
It is.
Moment of silence for my social life. All right, so for people making less money in the economy, the best thing to do today is probably to save as much money as possible. It may be worth more a year from now. And that echoes something we've been saying on the show for quite some time. The future value of cash in an unusual set of circumstances like the economy that we're in is probably one of the best investments you can make today.
Yeah, I remember ever since we started working together, we used to say, no, cash isn't king, cash flow is king.
Yeah.
Right? So, because your cash should be working for you, right? But now, we've been saying, hoard your cash.
Hoard it.
Hoard it. Get ready.
Pull it in there.
Yeah. See, you're baiting me.
What hoarding is you pull something inside and you keep it.
Yeah, keep hoarding it as I got it. Hoard it inside. Do you do a lot of hoarding inside?
I'm a hoarder.
Hoarder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Of cash.
Yeah, exactly. So now's the best.
Not Neil.
Right. Not Neil. Exactly.
Not Kashkari. Just cash.
Oh.
Just to be
See,
clear. Okay. I don't want there to be any weird skepticism later on in the
Right.
show. Was that what he was referring to?
That is what he's referring to.
No, it was
so,
not.
another quote from this article that I thought was really interesting was that they actually brought us some statistics on housing starts. So, housing starts have risen from an annual rate of 1.34 million in April to 1.63 million in May.
And what is a housing start, Saied?
Is when they break ground on construction.
They start to build.
They start to build. So, I mean, that means the project is fully underway.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, right? So, like, they're fully anticipating. They're taking in all the facts that they know of what the how the economy is right now, what the future looks like, and they're predicting, like, we'll be able to finish this project in the next several months.
Yeah, sure. That works for me.
I mean, how long would you say for a good developer? How long would it take?
Well,
beginning
most
to end?
single-family residence developers build in phases. They don't do like a spec one-off kind of home.
Right.
Typically speaking, if you do like a one-off home, you're talking 12 to 18 months if they're super fast. Generally speaking, 18 to 24 months is probably more common.
Mm-hmm.
But
Really?
in these larger,
But those are high-end luxury homes.
high-end luxury homes, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're doing like track homes, they can
Yes.
do it in a couple months, but they do it in phases, right?
Yes.
So they deliver them in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So that could take a couple of years.
I remember, yeah, no, and that is true because the first house that we bought in Riverside, that was the case. I remember when we bought, they were still building out the final phase, and they had promised us at the end of the final phase, everyone's HOA fees are going to come down. Guess what?
They didn't go down.
They didn't go down.
Yeah, and the reason why they do that is that you help them recuperate some cash before they finalize, so they don't have to dip in more in their savings. Now they have cash flow coming in from
Right.
selling.
So something that I thought was very interesting. So the title of that article, Odin, did you already delete it? Inflation keeps the housing market afloat, but also vice versa, right? The housing market is what's keeping inflation afloat.
In this particular instance, that is a valid assumption, and we'll get into an article a little bit later on where it talks a little bit about that. But
I had some here too. So Campbell Harvey, he's a professor at Duke University.
that's a great fucking name.
Great name, stud.
I am Campbell Harvey.
Yeah.
You respect me and my soup.
Yeah, and he's actually very upset with all the FOMC members.
I like him already.
Yeah.
Tell me more about soup guy.
Yeah, so he like we have mentioned has noted that shelter is really the number one thing driving this inflation report, right? CPI, PCE, whichever you want to look at.
Yeah, you know me.
You know what it is. And he's acknowledging, like the Fed has acknowledged, that rents year over year are either stagnant or they're starting to come down in areas.
Mhm.
So we know that this is a lagging indicator, and it takes time for these data points to come in. And
I still think it's going to be lagging more than it traditionally has that we've experienced because of that ton of cash we put in the economy, that $2 trillion.
Right. And he was on CNBC. I think Squawk Box is the
I remember my first time on CNBC Squawk Box.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And it hasn't happened. I just remember that it's going to be cool, whatever.
Oh, it hasn't happened. I was like, where was I? Why wasn't I tuning in?
Nobody cares what we have to say.
No,
like, the higher what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do we care what you have to say?
Yeah, stop it. So
you guys both know you're brown, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
People don't want to listen to you.
They don't want. They want a real Rabini. Do you have cool glasses?
Yeah. I mean, you're trying.
I'm trying. Mine are more Jeff Goldblum, not less, Euro trash.
Wow.
Yeah, bro, his glasses.
He's the homie.
I know, no, I like it, but he can pull that off. I can't.
You can't call him Euro trash, though.
You know how people go to Zara and they wear like super skinny jeans and
I don't
really,
like that.
tight clothes?
I was never into the super scooper.
The scuba?
Yeah, I was never into the super skinny jean look. Obviously, I couldn't fit into them, but I mean,
You got thighs, bro. You could never shoehorn those into like skinny jeans.
never.
Your knocks don't fit.
It's knots, not knocks.
In your case, it's knocks.
No, come on.
Because your
You can't-
thighs clap.
You can't.
They knock. You don't have guns, bro. I know the Urban Dictionary language. Yeah.
My knots don't fit.
No, in your case, it's knocks.
So what he was saying is he doesn't like how the FOMC members, and he was really attacking Jerome Powell, is saying that he keeps targeting unemployment, right? He's saying, why are we so focused on the jobs report?
I also call bullshit on all jobs reports. I think the jobs reports are all fucked up.
I mean, there's a lot of skepticism. A lot of people don't want to believe in any of it. And
Yeah,
we're going to break down the numbers later.
Yeah,
But
jobs reports bullshit. That is my stance. Hey, Chris, what about the jobs report? Bullshit.
yeah, but what he really wants everyone to focus in on is the shelter component. We've talked about on the show before. It makes up arguably
As they should.
a third of the report, right? And he went on to say, if we had the same inflation we had last month in housing and shelter, right? If it came in at 0.1% month over month, right? It would drop from a 4% rate to 2.7%.
Yep.
And the Fed has acknowledged already that they know this will be coming down.
Yeah.
Right? So they know it will be coming down eventually by the end of the year. They have said they want to do a wait-and-see approach. The fact that the Chicago Mercantile Exchange CME Fed Funds Watch Tool.
You have been all over the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Is nuts, man.
Well, I mean, you're a WERP guy, and I'm a CME guy. You play for Team WERP. I play for Team CME.
All right, I'm gonna give you that because it sounds weird.
You'll go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Mercantile Exchange, like the WERP, has not been wrong yet on the next upcoming, potential Fed rate interest increase.
Yeah,
right?
the world interest rate probability (WERP), according to Bloomberg, is 88% for
Okay.
a 25 basis point increase.
Chicago Mercantile Exchange today, 95%.
Yikes!
Not good, kids. So you can already bake in 25 basis points. I'll tell you, we know that the PCE report that came out did not help at all.
Nope.
Right? We already covered that.
I don't think any report that's come out lately has helped.
I'll tell you, and the stock market today took a dive after the ADP private sector jobs report came out.
Which we'll get to that in a little bit. I want to lead into that with this mortgage rates conversation. But the ADP report, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I literally talked to somebody who used to work at ADP, and they said their comment to me was, I used to work there. Let me tell you, ADP's full of shit. And honestly, I believe it.
ADP's full of shit?
That was the statement from a former employee from ADP who was like an executive level there.
Wow.
It's like their data's full of shit. It's delayed. It's very, very delayed. And if they don't have all the data in, they'll just pull something out of their ass.
The problem, okay, so I guess if you want to lead, why don't we lead in with this because we got a lot to get into when it comes to that.
All right. So just before the guys got here tonight, I was sitting in my car, and I know that they were thinking maybe he's thanking. I'm not afraid of being made fun of.
No, it's fine.
I'm embracing it.
I know, you should.
I know you guys were thinking that I was sitting in my car being weird. What I was doing was reading this article, and a realtor had posted it saying that this is the reason that home values are going to stay up.
This?
And I got so pissed that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this in the show notes. We're gonna talk about it tonight.
Okay.
According to Yahoo, mortgage rates hit the highest point of the year. So home affordability took another hit this week as mortgage rates neared 7%, forcing many buyers to stick to the sidelines. Right? So less buyers in the market, supply, demand, if you want to go the Dave Ramsey argument route.
Mm-hmm.
There's less demand because they can't afford it, and demand without affordability, as you now know, is not demand.
Right.
Which many people have been quoting back to me.
Really?
Including your guy, Jordan.
Oh, Jordan Franks. Love this guy.
Yeah, love him. He's been posting a lot of financial stuff lately.
By the way.
What?
So I think he recently retired, and he's been posting a lot of financial stuff, and I like
I
a
love
lot.
it.
I like a lot.
No, I like it.
I got to reach out to him and see if he ever wants to come on the show.
I'd love to have him on the show.
Former tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
I didn't realize he retired, but yeah. Yeah, so we were exchanging some comments, and his comment to me was, demand without affordability is not demand.
Stud, this guy.
I was like, son of a bitch, I love you.
Stud.
Anyway, the rate on the 30-year fixed mortgage rate increased to 6.81% from 6.71%. Only 10 basis points, I recognize, but the week prior, according to Freddie Mac, the highest level in 2023 and since November of last year when rates went just above, I think it was like 7%, if I recall correctly.
Right.
So rates followed an uptick in the 10-year Treasury yield after a government report released last week showed inflation remained sticky, and minutes released this week from the Federal Reserve's last meeting revealed a more hawkish stance toward the future rate increases. Now, this, before you go on,
shouldn't have been a surprise.
Should not have been a surprise. One of the things we've talked about on the show multiple times is that the yield curve inversion is at the deepest inversion it's been in, the longest inversion since 1981.
Right.
That the 2-year Treasury and the
I'm showing the chart with my hand, so you can see how it goes. Yeah, I'm doing it for you.
There were so many references I could have made with that. I'm just
leave it alone.
I'm a bigger man than you. Yes,
yeah,
I am.
you are.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
all right. Take the bait, boys. I gave it to you.
Yeah.
So the 10-year was lower priced than the 2-year, and because of this inversion, we knew that it was going to come out of the inversion over time. We knew the 10-year was going to rise, and people out there who are in the real estate business were saying, Chris, the 2-year can go back down. The 10-year doesn't have to rise. And I said, no.
Mm-mm.
We're at historic lows, kids.
Yeah.
They're going up.
Right.
Logan.
And that's directly tied to consumer expectations.
Yeah. Logan from Housing Wire was telling me that he called, I think, 4.75, 4.85 or something like that by the end of the year, by the 10-year. And, we're starting to see that now.
We're in we got a 4 handle today.
Yeah, we got a 4 handle today, just above 4. And this has put upward pressure on the 30-year, the mortgage rates, because the 10-year is the most influential on the 30-year mortgage rates, and we're seeing this rise up. So this does not mean home values are going to stay up because there's less buyers or any kind of nonsensical argument you might hear from a realtor on social media. This means values go down.
Right. That inflation report that they were talking about that remained sticky was the PCE report that we covered last week, and the Fed minutes, which I never understand why the market, especially now when Jerome Powell's coming out at the post-game press conference and, he's telling you what was just said. What, you guys think he's going to lie about what was said? It's going to come out. The minutes are going to come out.
I feel like Jerome Powell's in there saying, look, this is what I'm going to say you guys said. Okay?
Yeah. But no, the minutes come out and they show. Like
he's probably walking around the room where they're doing their little dot plot going, no.
Mm-mm.
Waller, that's that higher. Okay.
Yeah.
Walking over to
Waller.
Cash.
Yeah, Waller's the one.
Yeah.
He's too high.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you. That's
More than
Jerome
one
Powell
way.
walking on the room going, listen, I gave you a red crayon for a reason. Use it. Higher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't quite understand. Haroon, and could you do me a favor, please? Could you Google 30-year fixed rate mortgage right now? And why is it that if you were to Google it, that number is different than what Freddie's 30-year fixed rate mortgage is always slightly below whatever pops
Yeah,
up.
it's more of a conforming average number.
Okay.
So it's always probably, I would say, like a conservative representation. So, yikes.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So, like, when I see the Freddie number and I compare it to this, when you Google it, average rate right now is 7.8%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that. So the average conforming Freddie Mac or agency loan, which usually gives you better rates, it's just under 7%.
Just under 7%.
Now, the average mortgage rate
that's
for a
for
30-year across country, California with the FICO score of 700 to 718, 7.8. Yeah, I believe that.
8 handles. Here we come.
Oh, we called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give you credit for my call.
Come on.
What?
Christopher, don't be that guy.
I am indeed that guy. I like that guy. I embrace that guy. I look at that guy in the mirror every night and say, you know what? I like you, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Take credit for the work that you do for Saied.
With that beard. That guy.
My wife finally heard the episode of How I Got the Lolo.
And she's like,
And
why you lie to the people?
She came home and she's like, huh, I was wondering why you gave up your chin. My faux chin.
Dude, the only time in the last, 11 years that I've completely shaved, I'm talking about like skin, no stub.
Was your
nothing,
wedding.
right? Was my wedding.
Yeah.
To this day, my wife said, why'd you do that? Like, I just wanted one last time.
You know that's insulting, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like your face.
Yeah, I didn't like how our wedding photos came out. Why did you do this?
I didn't think you looked that bad anyway. I thought you
I
looked
thought
very
it looked
sleek.
good. Yeah, I thought it looked like a stud, too.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I thought you looked good.
Yeah.
Wow. Axios, I recognize is not the best reference in the world.
Really?
But so now we've gone from kind of the inflation numbers, and we've talked a little bit about housing and rates.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we're going to talk about how the Northeast is losing out to America's new economic hotspots. This according to Axios. I've got two charts we're going to share here.
Okay.
But before we get there, Florida, Texas, Georgia, and the Carolinas and Tennessee are in the middle of a 100 billion wealth migration as the U.S. economic center of gravity tilts south.
In a positive way or a negative way?
This according to Bloomberg.
Mm.
Well, to a positive way. Florida, Texas, Georgia, and the Carolinas, Tennessee as well. Tennessee, Florida, and Texas are also no state tax, I believe.
Yes.
So you're seeing a huge migration of money into these states. So that chart just below that, Haroon, if you don't mind, there you go, that one. Let's open that bad boy up. This one shows a chart of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And on this chart, you see a spectrum of negative in like the orangish color all the way to blue, positive color, going from negative 20% to positive 20%.
This is really insulting for us colorblind folk.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, I see shades.
Okay.
I see shades.
So Texas is the darkest color on the map in a positive way. You've seen about 20% growth there.
Right.
But if you recall, in earlier episodes, we talked about how the East Coast has not been as impacted as the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting here is the West Coast still has a net positive in growth in GDP, while the Northeast has a very negative GDP, and a lot of parts of the Midwest have a very negative GDP. What's interesting to see here is with this migration of people, largely as a result of the pandemic, work from home,
yes,
and this excess savings that they had, we're seeing a migration into states that this chart, if you're not colorblind, visually represents. Maybe this is why we're not seeing the real estate trends like we normally would, where it would normally go from the coast having drops in values, and it would go inward towards the Midwest.
Yes.
And then in a prosperous
Back
economy,
out.
it would go back out. It would start in the Midwest going up and then go out to the coast.
Right.
And maybe this is why so much of what we're experiencing from a real estate perspective is thrown off. The savings, all these things, they kind of layer in all these little idiosyncrasies, these complexities that make the market react in a very different way. And Haroon, if you can go to the next chart, which is colorblind friendly.
Got it.
We're going to look a little bit more at a dot plot map, Jesus. Cities with the largest numeric increase in population from 2021 to 2022. Again, just coming off the heels of the pandemic. July of 2021 through July of 2022, cities were with populations of 50,000 or more. You got number 1, Fort Worth, Texas, plus 19.2K. Number 2, Phoenix, Arizona, 19.1. Number 3, San Antonio, Texas, 18.9. You know, Austin's in there as well, and a bunch of other places. But look, the growth is almost entirely in the South and Southeast.
Yes.
Which also has probably propping up values.
Right.
In those places. Florida, huge value increases. Texas, huge value increases.
Right. I know the increases that we saw last week in the Northeast, we said the average purchase price was like below like $300,000. Right. So not a lot of movement coming from there.
So this brings me to my next point.
Got a lot of points you're making tonight.
I'm jabbing at everything I can.
You're very pointy.
I am very pointy. My eyebrows. I had some Botox, so for those of you who hated my eyebrows, fuck you.
Talking to me directly.
Yeah, I'm talking to everybody out there.
Yeah.
The guy in my DMs who's like, holy shit, why do you always look happy? Anyway.
It's because you got a black card.
We haven't referenced that in a minute.
I had to bring it back.
It's been a little while.
I know.
I've now switched to
didn't-
the Visa Black Card.
I don't like how
afford the
people
American Express
stopped
anymore.
calling you arrogant.
No, they still do. Yeah, they've gotten so used to calling me arrogant that at this point they're like, okay, he knows that.
We need to find something.
We need to
new.
find something that he can't acknowledge,
Right.
like you're fat and arrogant.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's been the reoccurring one. All right, so Saied called this probably a year ago, maybe a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
According to Reuters, bankruptcy filings surge in first half of 2023 in U.S. Epic says. Epic is a reporting firm. U.S. Chapter 11 bankruptcy filings jump 68% in the first half of 2023 from a year earlier. Epic Bankruptcy, a provider for U.S. bankruptcy filing data, said on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at the chart, and you will see a pretty fucking steep increase in
Shout out to
bankruptcy
my
filings.
guy, Matt Hayes.
Matt Hayes coming through with data. Always brings us
Shout
the
out.
good.
Yeah, appreciate you.
This was in a chart that he sent me down the rabbit hole.
Mhm.
So the bar on the left, which is gray, and if you're Saied, it's just a bar on the left. That shows the Great Recession.
Yeah.
The bar on the right shows the pandemic recession in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see the relative increase in upticks of.
Not a big deal, right? I mean, come on.
Well, unfortunately, in every recession that you're seeing, at least here, nobody had a spike at this cadence. This is
Right.
the fastest cadence up
Yes.
in bankruptcies. And I know it's hard to tell because this has a line chart that goes up and down pretty frequently, but basically you're seeing a dramatic increase straight up.
Yeah, it looks like a straight line.
At least in colorblind, you can see the
Yeah,
lines.
I can see,
there you
see
go.
lines.
What
So-
color do you think the line is?
So it's honestly, you could convince me so many different ways.
What color do you think it is?
I don't know, man. You could tell me it's anything from green to black to dark. I don't know. I have no idea.
Really? That looks black to you?
It could be. If you told me it is, I'd believe you.
What color shirt are you wearing?
Black, always.
How do you know that?
What do you mean? Because I go on a buy, where are your black thermals at? I go, right there, sir.
But you don't always. Okay, whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It's
Look, it's always new.
it's
Really
blue
easy
and green.
tones.
There's two lines there actually. You
Blue
just
and
can't
green.
tell.
Got it. So with these bankruptcy filings moving up that we knew was bound to happen, some of it is just so when corporations are doing this, right, they're trying to legally protect themselves because they can't fulfill their debt obligations, right?
I think there's a bigger problem here.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear.
I like to hear what, Saied.
Yeah, what? I'd like to hear what you have to say about this
And how do you ask nicely?
topic.
Come on.
Por favore.
In English, please.
Just do it.
So there's been a lot of people saying, okay, you know what? 90% plus people in the country have mortgage rates less than 6% of their home.
Yes, we said that.
Well, other people said it. We've quoted it.
Mhm.
Don't be selfish.
Redfin data.
Okay, fine. And a lot of people have been hesitant to get a second trust deed on their property, even though they've had this appreciation in value, largely because they're hard to get, and the ones you can get have higher rates.
Yes.
They don't want to tap into that equity,
Mm-hmm.
but they've been tapping into credit, and we've seen historically high levels or historic high levels of non-household debt,
Right.
credit card, student loan debt. All these things are at
Mhm.
their peaks.
Corporate debt.
Corporate debt. All this stuff is at a scary number right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are so hesitant to move to buy a new property because they can't afford it, number one.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to let go of their mortgage rate. You're going to see more and more people going into bankruptcies, throwing all their debt into it, but carving out their mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
their primary residence lien holder, and saying, you know what, I'm gonna pull them out. I'm gonna pay them
They
back
can
in,
do that,
in their
huh?
entirety. Oh, there's a way you can do that, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're gonna try to get out of their credit card debt because the only way they can do that is to sell their property, and then where are you gonna go?
Right.
It's a problem.
It's a big problem.
So I think this is going to be the temporary defensive position before people figure out that I've got way too much debt,
Well, I think this is just
not enough income.
I personally think this is just the beginning of it,
It is just the beginning of it.
right?
So you
Because-
should personally think that's accurate. Yeah.
Because we know, like we've mentioned on the show, the credit tightening cycle hasn't begun yet.
so tight, like
So-
tiger,
Like a tiger.
like tiger.
Yeah. Austin Powers reference. Good for you.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. I do watch movies
Occasionally.
occasionally. So we know that once that happens, it's going to have a major impact to businesses that rely on these loans to keep them afloat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, you're going to see an even more of an uptick in this. And what this really highlights, I think, is what we've been saying all along, that people have been actually waiting. They've been messaging us. I know they've been messaging me. And you said that layoffs and unemployment was really going to tick up. I'll tell you right now, this is the indicator right here.
Also, the jobs reports are bullshit.
And jobs reports are bullshit. This right here with the corporations filing bankruptcies and more delinquencies, people walking away from the commercial real estate, just like, fuck it, fuck my equity, I'm out. Right?
Well, commercial real estate's a different animal, particularly office.
Particularly office. That was a segue. You didn't like that, Lub?
No, I liked it. It just didn't feel genuine.
Honestly, we're not vibing.
Oh, that was good, Saied.
That was good, right? That was
real good.
And he's always got something. Oh, there's always something with you.
Why are you so mad, Chris?
Why are you mad? You want to talk about it?
My feelings are hurt,
Because I sided with Saied for once?
No, I mean, that I expected. You are a traitor, so eventually that was a...
He's my brother-in-law.
Certainty. Yes, you're related. So anything that you, quote, side with him on is because you feel
All right, this got too long. Right,
nepotism-based loyalty.
Dragging it out, dude.
Yeah, man, that was weak. That was weak shit.
Why is the collar on your shirt so stretched?
Are you talking to Saied?
Where did that come
I
from,
saw it earlier.
dude?
I banked it. I saw it earlier.
That's so fucked up. You saved it for the show?
Yeah. If he's we're gonna have a camera on him. He can't be wearing
Bro,
shirts like that shit.
He's got a 1-year-old who he holds.
Thank you.
And the collar pulls out the collar. What do you mean?
Don't co-sign that.
Honestly, if he didn't have a loose collar, I'd be like, hold your kid more. What's wrong with you?
Chris wouldn't know.
That's too far. Honestly, mute him.
I can't mute him. He can mute himself.
No, in the edit, post game.
Oh, yeah, just delete his audio on accident.
Yeah.
This is like we're talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
All the people are going to hear them listening to this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well.
All right. So CMBS holders.
Yeah. Commercial mortgage-backed securities are securitized mortgage debt sold and packaged into Wall Street as a security you can buy.
Mm-hmm.
So now in this case, commercial mortgage-backed securities have typically commercial real estate in them, and they are generally class consistent. So
yes,
office commercial mortgage-backed securities
are usually packaged all together
and then sold off because they have a similar risk profile. Whereas commercial real estate, like multifamily apartment complexes, have a different risk profile, and those are generally not lumped in with things like office.
And who can invest in these?
Anybody.
I mean, you got to be a high net worth individual really to be investing in personally, individually by yourself, right? But typically speaking, you'll see these in bonds, right?
Yep.
You'll see these actually in foreign pension funds.
You know who owns a shit ton of them?
Who?
The largest banks in this country.
That's right.
Globally systematic, important banks.
JP Morgan. I think I looked up the stats on this. I should have put it down. I think JP Morgan has like 17% of them.
GSIBs. Those banks that were untouchable. The banks that you, consumers, were like, I need to move my money over there, man.
Right, and that's
because Jamie Dimon, he's never gonna fail.
Right, and actually, this past week, Jerome Powell came out and had some Fed speak and was saying how people really need to work with these. The lenders really need to work with the owners of these commercial buildings.
Yeah.
Find a way to modify these.
Yep.
Here you go. That's right. Did I say 17%?
Who are the top?
Is that what I said?
Okay, before you compliment yourself, can I read the quote?
Is that what I said? Bring the energy, man. Your energy's a little low tonight.
Why are you doing that lip shit to me right now? You're like quivering a little bit. You're like, hey.
Your energy's a little low tonight.
My energy's not low. I'm gassed up. I'm ready to go.
Let's go. Let's go.
You mean, would you like me to read this?
Yeah, who are the top CMBS
you haven't
lenders?
said please to me once tonight. You just fucking demand shit to me like I'm fucking working for you. I'm just saying. It'd be nice if you just said, let's go, please.
Let's do this, man.
See? No, please. Can't say it, can you?
We can do it together. Come on.
Please.
JP Morgan Securities.
I don't want you to read it. I want us to read it. Please.
Please.
Oh, all right. Who are the top CMBS lenders? Number one, JP Morgan Securities at $3.4 billion. God, that hurts.
It's a lot.
In loan volume, 17.7% of market share. Saied was once again correct. This is the big Saied is correct episode. Deutsche Bank, $2.7 billion in loan volume for 14.1% of market share.
That's a lot.
Goldman Sachs, our favorite DJ's bank, $3.8 billion, 9.6% market share. And Wells Fargo Bank, $3.1 billion, 7.6% market share.
But just to clarify with this too, this is all commercial back securities.
Yeah, but they hold a lot of these.
They hold. I know exactly. So we don't want to say that they own 17.7% of all like office buildings.
But they own a lot of commercial mortgage-backed securities.
Yes.
And in this particular instance, according to Zero Hedge, CRE Nightmare for CMBS holders, office mortgage delinquency, specifically office CMBS, rate suffers the biggest 6-month spike, not in the last 10 years, not in the last 20 years, ever.
Right.
The biggest 6-month spike ever. And Haroon, if you would be so gracious to please pull up the chart.
Right. What's scary about this report while Haroon's pulling this up is that we're just at the beginning of this.
The very, very, very beginning. And this is a straight line straight up, which honestly kind of visually parallels the bankruptcy straight up line.
Right.
These are early indicators, people.
Right.
These are things you should be going, holy shit. Bankruptcy shooting straight up. Office, delinquency shooting straight up. We're at the beginning of all this stuff.
Right.
The Fed's going to hold rates for a prolonged period of time. They might increase rates once, if not twice more.
And these are the data points where you're looking at and you're like, wait a minute, these jobs numbers do not make any sense.
None.
And let me tell you right now, if they're real, it's going to get really ugly. Because if those jobs are actually really added, that means that there's a lot of companies out there operating in a way that have no idea how to look at any of this stuff.
I don't think you're allowed to say ugly anymore. I think you're supposed to say less attractive.
No, you can say ugly.
You're going to get really less attractive.
I'm never going in on that. Come on, ugly? You can't say ugly. Your shoes are ugly.
Ooh, no, my shoes are less attractive than you would like.
Yeah, I would never call an individual, one of God's creations, ugly. I would never do that.
Oh, I would. I've seen some ugly motherfuckers in my time. Yeah. Yeah, no hesitation there. Don't give me the pump fake. Yeah. You ugly bitch. I say it to myself all the time in the mirror. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Yeah. See, I can say it when it's about myself.
Yeah. So what made that chart so scary, and what they're saying is a lot of the corporations that own or have loans on these office buildings, right? They're seeing vacancy numbers go up, right? Their rates have gone adjustable, right? Their interest-only payments have now doubled, right?
Yep.
That no longer cash flows.
Yep. Because
let me tell you right now, when they got those loans, they were just barely getting by on that debt service coverage ratio.
And without mentioning names, Saied and I were talking to somebody in the space.
Yes.
Who's pretty close to all this, and he was stunned.
Mm-hmm.
Sent the article, actually, which I shared with you immediately afterward, to us.
Right.
We had a short conversation about it, and his only take-home was, we haven't even begun to see the worst of it yet, and you're already seeing a spike like it never had before happened.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It's a problem because, look, when these office buildings have their vacancies, right, whatever tenants are still in there that are paying their rents, they're barely able to pay the expenses of operating the building, right? And then they can't make the payments on the loan. Forget paying down the loan, the interest-only payments.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm going to set up a scenario.
This is where BlackRock, Blackstone are walking away from their equity on their buildings. They say, we can't afford these payments. They just walk away from these high rises in Los Angeles.
All right, so I'm going to give a little bit of a technical background here, which explains that, and then I'm going to get into a hypothetical of how this unfolds, and I want to point out something that I can guarantee you will be a very palpable difference than what we experienced during the contagion period as of March 10th to now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so number one, generally speaking, if you're securitizing a commercial mortgage-backed security, you're holding that asset, i.e. an office building, in a single-purpose, single-asset entity, generally speaking, an LLC or a partnership. The reason why that's usually one of those two entities is the best tax positions for passive income. That's the best structure for that type of tax position. That being said, if you're in a single-purpose, single-asset entity, the purpose of that entity is to own and operate that building.
Yes.
And the single asset is the only asset in that entity.
Right.
Is that
building.
Property, that building.
Yes.
Or series of buildings if they're all connected. That being said, so when BlackRock gives up the property, it's not impacting all of BlackRock unless they sign recourse liability, which, generally speaking, a lot of these have non-recourse loans. No liability to sue the individual sponsor or entity behind the single asset, single purpose entity.
Right. It's a single action state, right?
Well, in some
states, we're talking California, we were talking about Los Angeles earlier.
Yeah. So generally speaking, this is not a huge impact of these companies letting them go I mean, obviously they're walking away from equity and they're having some trouble there, but
Yeah.
it's not reverberating repercussions for a lot of them because of they've structured their liability.
Got it.
So what happens to these office buildings? Same thing happens to some of these malls. They go abandoned and they look like a ghost town. Look at San Francisco.
Oh my God.
Now let me paint the picture.
I'm not going this week, and next week I'll report back.
You're going to have to report back. Although San Francisco's chief economist, the actual city's chief economist, came out and said it's not that bad. And I'm like, you're the you're fucking confused, guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's a conflict of interest.
Right.
That's like me looking at myself in the mirror going, you know what, guys? It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's not that
I know it looks that way from the side, but straight on,
Yeah.
doesn't look so bad.
No.
It's how you look at it.
Right. It's lighting.
Okay.
It's the lighting.
I'm using cerebellum.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, but here's the picture I want to paint. March 10th, contagion period hits. Peter Thiel talks about get your money out of these banks. Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic Bank, they all fail.
Yes.
Oh my God, get your money out of community banks. They might fail. Yet nobody lost any money. Nobody lost access to any money. But the rhetoric was, holy shit, move your money. Go to these globally systematic, important banks. They're going to fail. And we let 3 fail. Justifiably so. Okay? First Republic Bank didn't fail per se, but they were sold last minute in what was clearly a pre-failure set of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
The rhetoric was, shit, these banks are going to fail. Get your money out. We don't know if they're going to be backstopped, yet they were.
Yes.
Watch the rhetoric for the globally systematic important banks. JP Morgan Chase,
Okay.
Wells Fargo.
What is it going to be?
Watch how powerful they are when these people have full-time lobbyists in Washington, D.C. pushing through their political agendas.
Yes.
Watch what they do. Oh, we need the government to step in here. This is bad.
Right.
And watch how the government steps in.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what happens. Mark my fucking words.
I believe it.
When this contagion period, this version of it, this office CMBS contagion period gets bad enough,
Yeah.
and now the globally systematic important banks, they hold such a massive market share here, now
Right.
they have risk that they didn't have during this March 10th deposit run contagion.
Right.
Deposits were flooding into them. It was good for them. They got to acquire First Republic Bank for pennies on the dollar, Silvergate Bank for pennies on the dollar. We talked about the bank on the East Coast that South Carolina banker that
Oh, that's right. That's
made
right.
the increased billions of dollars in net worth for the family because they bought the assets of Signature Bank and Silicon Valley Bank. It was a boon for them.
Right.
And
First Citizens, I think it was.
Yeah, and the government did nothing to stop it other than, hey, here's the bank. You want to buy this bank? Sure,
Yeah.
go ahead and knock stuff out.
Yeah. Go do it.
Watch how they step in because these globally systematic important banks are saying, oh shit, we got problems.
Yeah. I wonder how many of these bankruptcies, these corporate bankruptcies that are leading to ultimately to these vacancies, right? I wonder how many of them were corporations or companies that were still, like we've mentioned on the show before, were projecting second half of the year growth. And they predicted by now the Fed would have,
Cut rates.
made their pivot,
Yeah.
and been like, okay, prosperity is on the rise again. It's in front of us again. And that never came.
I don't think you've seen the lion's share of those bankruptcies yet.
That's what I'm saying. I think this number is going to
You're just seeing defaults now.
right.
Defaults take a while to get into a bankruptcy scenario. What is everyone highlighting here?
More than 230 American companies have filed for bankruptcy through April, according to S&P Global, the highest level over the first 4 months of any year since
2010,
what happened then?
which is 3 years after the Great Recession.
Yeah.
That's how bad the Great Recession was leading into it.
Right.
Now look what we're seeing here. So interesting. Haroon, New York Times, good poll.
Right.
Yeah. Good work. I respect you.
I respect you. I do respect you too. Haroon, jeez, don't give me that look.
What?
Try to pay me out to be
I
a
hate
villain.
that I have to, prompt you to compliment your own brother-in-law.
No,
It's awkward.
love this guy. So listen,
That seemed insincere. Haroon, do you feel like that was sincere?
He's going through some stuff.
He is
Just
going
let
through
him.
some stuff. Yeah.
what
He laughed. You can't laugh at the end of it, man.
What did I do? So look, another reason why we haven't seen the lion's share of this just yet, right? Is I talked about it earlier at the beginning of the show, that the credit tightening cycle has not begun yet, right? Once that happens,
No.
Would you say business loans are probably more considered riskier loans during this economic environment?
Yeah. I think
Probably the riskiest of loans.
there's an old saying, which I'm not endorsing, but it
Mhm.
is an old saying, that when you don't need money, banks will give you money. I mean,
Mhm.
when you do need money, banks won't give you anything.
Yep.
And the suggestion is that when you have a good financial position that you don't need a loan,
Mm-hmm.
you can get a loan because you've got a good financial position.
Right.
But when you have a bad financial position and you need a loan to stay afloat,
Mm-hmm.
you can't get a loan.
And I think for a lot of people that, and I'm one. This is something that I've learned on the job. For a lot of people that have never started a business or seen how a business is ran.
I'm trying to cover up my shiny legs because you guys made fun of me last
Oh,
time.
I can't wait for people to see that episode drop. If you guys are true fans of the show, make sure you leave a comment on YouTube and let Chris know how you like his legs. At the last episode. What episode number is that? Do you know, Haroon?
156.
156. So, business loans are considered riskier loans, right? You made me lose my entire train of thought.
It's because you're doing some villain shit again.
I was doing some villain
No,
shit.
it's because your fucking legs, man, are shiny.
Yeah,
I laser hair removal.
right. So they're considered riskier because you don't know. It's harder to predict the future.
You just trying to salvage your statement now?
No, because
No,
there's a lot of volatility,
no.
right? A lot of uncertainty amongst different sectors. As underwriters, what do? You look at historicals and you try to predict the future. Well, when you're going through unprecedented times, how could anyone predict what's to come? If
You
anything, that, in my opinion, that's where you start to tighten up the most.
Keep in mind, most lenders aren't lending right now.
Well, right, and I'm saying the credit tightening cycle is going to happen. So, this is what I was saying. Sorry,
A bank
I just
analyst
remembered.
from Wall Street told me. I'm going to make you forget it.
No, come on. Let me finish this thought. Did you remember the bank analyst? So most people, I learned this on the job, don't understand or realize that as a business, you use a bank loan to scale your business. You need it. Not all businesses can run just purely off, the sales of the company and just move forward, right? You need something to hold you over in between times, in between periods. Right? You needed to, invest in new equipment, new technology, to expand, research and development, things that you need to cover your costs, right? So when banks start to tighten up, economic growth out the window. GDP gone. Not as negative.
Not according to the bullshit that we're seeing right now.
I know.
Revised GDP goes up.
Right. So, I mean, you need revised GDP goes up, but that was at the beginning of the year.
And they stay there.
You were I saw you were analyzing in your head. Do I say it? And they stay there.
I was like, I know he's going to repeat my shit. Just give him a minute and it'll come out.
Oh, shit.
Some people are like, what the fuck are they talking about? And some people are like, oh, shit, I love that song.
Come check out my Instagram stories. It'll be on there. Yeah.
All right, so an analyst who covers bank stock, he generally sends me an email every quarter before earnings calls, and he kind of gives me his input on, like, these are the things that we as an analyst for the banking sector think are healthy statements.
Okay.
Kind of helping us craft the narrative if we get questioned by other analysts on an earnings call.
Mm-hmm.
But these are mass emails.
Okay.
They don't go out just to me. It goes out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all getting the same shtick. But one of the repeated themes I'm seeing from this email and other people that I've talked to in the space is that at this particular time, if you're talking about a bank specifically, this applies to all companies. I'm not just talking about banks.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to have improved earnings than it is to have improved growth.
Okay, break that down.
If you're making more money, but your company is shrinking
Mm-hmm.
or not growing,
Right.
it's still better than you growing and making less money.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Think about it this way.
You're doing what's best for the shareholders.
So a lot of companies will try to scale their growth very rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me has always been a red flag, because in order to scale your growth, you have to keep reinvesting your profits
Yes.
into this growth. You have to buy another building or pay for equipment to go into another location.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay for all these operating costs to grow your business.
Yes.
And the idea is, after you grow over time, you stabilize, your profits stabilize. Now each location or each area you've gone into, whatever you've scaled into, is now stable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make more money, and you can keep growing. But that keeps your earnings down, your bottom line down.
Got it.
So what the analysts are saying is we don't want to see any of that shit right now.
Right.
We don't want to see any of that. What we want to see is you protecting your earnings,
That's gotta
keeping
be,
yourself as profitable as you can.
That's gonna be a hard position for somebody that really believes in the company and what they're doing, because I can see how, like, why you would want to continue to reinvest in the company if you feel like that's what's best for your company.
But then you have to ask yourself, let me ask you a question, and Haroon, feel free to chime in here. Name a business you feel is recession-proof.
None. Yeah, I've thought about this.
In-N-Out?
Why you gotta call me out for In-N-Out?
I'm just saying, like, I think they probably consistent revenue throughout a recession. They probably make more money during a recession.
Why?
Cheap, right? People go through comfort food whenever they go through recessions. It's a pretty common increase. Maybe bars, they do pretty well during recessions. Some do because people go and drink because they're stressed. Some of the things, maybe right.
Mm-hmm.
But largely speaking, even if you're one of those businesses that do very well, you're not going to say, like, fuck it, we're going to go into this growth opportunity, because what else happens during recessions? Rates go up.
Yes.
Right?
Can't get money.
So now your financing cost for your scaled growth goes up. You're going to pay out of cash?
No.
You're going to have less retained earnings in your war chest just in case your business doesn't grow or there's something kind of a problem.
Right.
You can't go get a loan to cover, working capital if you need to.
Right. Best thing for you to do is hoard that cash and wait for the right opportunity.
So despite the fact that, well, here we go. What do we got here, Haroon?
10 companies and industries that make money during a recession.
All right. Well, please. What do you got?
Let's
Is
go.
there a list here, or is it just
10. The Walt Disney Company.
fuck?
Huh? Man, they get you.
They get all my monies.
All my monies. Okay.
Synopsis Inc.
S&P 500 outperformance in 2008. Industry information technology.
What's
IT.
Synopsis Inc? An application software company providing
yeah, for
electronic
IT.
design automation software.
Okay.
That was bullshit. T-Mobile.
Communication services.
I mean, they got Ryan Reynolds.
I'm more curious about the industry. In movies and entertainment.
Netflix, I believe. Yeah, Netflix.
People stay
streaming
home. Yeah, and
platforms.
if they do raise rates, people aren't willing to lose that.
Yeah.
Right.
Home Depot. Okay.
Really?
I would think it goes the other way.
I wouldn't really necessarily believe that.
Yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit. This
Because
might be the
remember,
other
we
one.
recently cited an article where for the first time they didn't meet expectations.
Maybe it was like during the COVID recession or something. Yeah, it was very. Yeah, Haroon. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy that one. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
buddy.
That's all right.
-1.
But okay, so I see your point.
Yeah. So now I think you're going to start to see companies kind of scale back, and this whole private sector companies added 497,000 jobs in June.
Let's get into it.
More than double expectations,
Yeah.
according to ADP. This is
Mhm.
from a CNBC article with the same title.
Right.
Okay, I'm just going to go out and say it right now. Fuck this article.
Yeah, fuck this article.
Leisure and hospitality led the way with 232,000 new hires, followed by construction, 97,000, and Jesus Christ.
Trade, transportation, utilities added 90,000.
What the fuck?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And this is I don't think we've ever done a proper
How is
breakdown.
leisure and hospitality still hiring people?
Right. Doesn't make sense.
Before this, the print before this, air travel, airlines up 26%. Inflation 26.
I
They
feel
were
like
over 25% more expensive.
and these are the numbers that scare me the most, because when their business loans don't get renewed, what's going to happen to all these people that were just recently hired? That's what scares me.
Who's going on vacations?
Why are you going on vacation right now?
Stop. Don't do it, America.
Exactly. So this is why the private jobs report is so important. So actually tomorrow is the June jobs report. And here's another reason that I just realized that I had such a big problem with this report. The Fed meeting, right, in June was middle of June, right? So there was a pause. And people were like, oh, wait, great. Let's go out and hire all these people. Is that what happened?
No.
So this is just not true?
They were like, no, I think the Fed is literally, I think they're trying to work through the previous recessions in their mind, and they're not looking at the data. Here's the problem. I know that they're saying, hey, guys, we're looking at the data, and it's not going the right direction.
Right.
Instead, they should be saying, hey, guys, we're looking at the data, and we don't know why it's not going the right direction, so we should be pausing right now to see if more time will change things.
Yeah, their wait-and-see approach needs to be longer than 1 month.
They need to actually wait and see. 1 month? What the fuck, bro?
At this point, you could wait till the end of the year, and I promise you, we could hit at least a high
Okay.
3, a mid 3 handle.
You want to know how fucking ridiculous waiting a single month is in June to July is?
It makes no sense.
Hospitality and travel and leisure went up. It's fucking summer, dude.
Right. And look, and this is the skepticism that I have. The Fed knew these were going to be hot prints.
Yeah, they
right?
do.
That's why he called it a skip and not a pause.
This is why I'm telling you, Jerome Powell's handing out crayons in the room,
Mm-hmm.
like fucking with everybody, telling them to like draw between the lines, whatever.
Right.
He knows.
He knows.
Hey guys, housing's not going to come down in the middle of the summer. Want to know why? That's when people move.
Right. So the stock market was down, I forget, like 300 points today?
Yeah.
How much? A lot, right? Whatever it was. If I'm wrong, don't come at me in my DMs. But they were down a lot. And they said it had a lot to do with...
How many followers do you have now?
Not a lot. But people don't follow me and they still come at me. It's like, damn, at least follow me.
Can we spend a minute on Threads, bro? I've been deep.
I
wanted
to talk to you about this, but real quick about this, right? The Fed knew that this print is gonna come in hot. Okay? 497,000 jobs. They paused, they got this. PCE came in sticky. They knew it was gonna come in sticky at 4.6%, right? That's basically flatlined since the beginning of this year. Their preferred measure of inflation has flatlined. 4.7 to 4.6% hasn't moved. Core inflation, right? We have...
Which is such bullshit, too.
And this report right here, the private sector, why this report means so much, right? And why this is what bothers me. If this report would have came out 3 months ago, people would have said, look at the economy, so sound and resilient. But for some reason, today it comes out...
That's what fucking Jerome Powell was saying.
Right, he was saying, right? But this comes out now...
The banking sector is sound and resilient.
But now this comes out and they're saying... He'll come out and say, see, labor market is too tight. It's red hot. We got to tailor services inflation. Needs to come down, right? It's a complete opposite. A complete flip-flop, right? So this came out. We're going to have CPI come out, I believe, next week, right? Mm-hmm. That's gonna still be where it is. I don't know, man. It's almost like it was baked in that they knew they were going to do it, and the wait-and-see approach needs to be longer than a month.
Of course it does. And I'm telling you right now, unequivocally, they knew.
Mm-hmm.
All this was like a, oh, you want me to pause?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like what's going on?
Right.
Okay, we'll pause.
Right.
And inside the meeting, they're going, fuck, it's June. These assholes think we're doing them a favor.
Right.
They knew all these prints were going to come in hot.
Right.
They knew, look, you got summertime, people hiring for the summertime, mm-hmm. right? People traveling for the summertime.
Yes.
People buying more homes in the summertime.
Right.
All the things that directly impact their decision and directly impact inflation.
Yes.
They knew this is the hot time for them, and they're going the other way. What are they going to do? They're going to raise it when the hot numbers come in, and all of America's going to be like, oh, shit, the numbers were strong, and they needed to raise again. All they did is they played into us like idiots.
Right. And 85% of the U.S. employment is in the private sector.
Yeah.
So when they see this report come out, this is, I don't know. This is what he's going to lean on. And tomorrow when the June jobs report comes out, I'm afraid to see what's going to happen. Jerome Powell might have a heart attack.
Did you see the article that they found cocaine in the White House?
I did, yeah.
And no one's explaining why it was there. They just said we found cocaine in the White House.
I don't know why he's there.
They're just like cocaine's in the White House, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, pretty sure Biden can't do that.
I have a feeling like that wasn't the first time, but come on.
Yeah, but well, and so this whole like ambiguous article came out about there was just cocaine was found in the White House.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right. There's cocaine at ADP. I'm convinced.
Yeah.
There's either that or crack pipes.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Yeah. a lot of people on these crack pipes are now jumping on Threads. Tell me all about it, because I know you've been knee deep.
Knee deep.
So what is it? What I don't get. I haven't even tried to explore it.
All right.
So I know it's trying to battle Twitter.
Let's go in a little extra innings tonight. Let's be thoughtful and pragmatic. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go back in time.
Okay.
Back in time.
That's not a song.
Back to reality. That's a fucking song.
No, you nailed some of the lyrics. That wasn't all the lyrics.
You just told me it's not a song. Now you know the words of the song that you just said was not a song?
Okay.
It's gotcha.
No.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's back to life.
Shit. I was doing so well.
Yeah.
So Twitter has problems,
mm-hmm.
right? Bots, all that shit. Bots are the number one problem. Elon Musk buys them after that whole bullshit situation. He's going to make it X Corp, and it's going to be all about repositioning this brand and being honest and transparent and clear. But the bots are still a fucking problem.
Light bulb went off for Zuck. Like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, then so what happens? He lays off a shit ton of Twitter employees.
A lot, right? How many people? Like 50%?
Yeah. And you know what Zuck does? Hires all of them motherfuckers. He's like, hey, I'll hire you. I'll hire you. I'll hire you.
Brilliant.
Doesn't tell anybody he's building this platform until about a week ago they teased it.
Mind you, this is what happens in the tech space regularly. People hop from one tech company to the other, and they keep getting bidded out on wage. That's how they get their wages up so high.
So, I mean, you could argue that there's some intellectual proprietary technology, but we all know how Twitter works. It's not a secret.
I know, right?
We all know.
Right.
Elon Musk knew. That's why he fucking bought them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he knew, right?
Right.
So they all go over there. They do their thing. Meanwhile, Instagram says, we're going to come out with Threads.
Meta.
Well, Meta, which owns Instagram, but
Yeah.
it's attached to Instagram.
Got it.
So the process of creating a Threads account is so fucking easy. You just log in with your Instagram credentials and you import over from Instagram your username, your photo, everything.
Because we know that conversion rate usually is really low. So they probably knew we got to make this as seamless as possible.
I have been on Twitter actively using it for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
I have 520 users. And maybe I don't understand how to use the platform. Not saying that I'm good at it.
Right.
I don't like spam, like all this intellectual, cerebral shit. I just talk about the news and the data that we talk about on the show.
Okay.
Right? And sometimes more, sometimes less, a little bit of opinions, whatever. But I don't get political and I don't say any like, stigmatized, charged shit.
Okay.
In less than 24 hours on Threads, I've got over 1,200 followers.
Wow. Why? Yeah.
Why? I'll tell you why. Because there's more momentum going that way.
More momentum.
They had over 30 million. I don't even know the numbers at right now. 30 million people. I think it's over 44 million. Last I checked. Don't quote me, but it's over. I think it's over 40 million. But they had 30 million by mid today. I think by the end of the day, they had like 40 something million people converting over and signing up.
So what's the hype? Tell me what do you like about it now that you've used it for a day?
Number one, there's no bots on the platform yet.
So you're not dealing with people.
Haroon, what do you got there?
Odin pulls up here. Threads versus Twitter. App privacy. Threads, Meta's recently launched Twitter killer, has raised privacy concerns about how the app may collect information about a user's digital activity, including health, financial, and other sensitive information.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? They're all collecting data on us. Let's be real. Let's forget all that bullshit.
Right.
So meanwhile,
that bitch Alexa be listening to me.
Yeah, Alexa listen to everything. Siri,
Yeah.
she all up in your shit.
Oh yeah.
Like this
especially
dirty,
right here.
Dirty motherfucker.
Yeah.
I know what you're watching.
Why you say nasty shit, right?
Yeah, why you saying nasty shit, Ray? Because I like him. A nasty. No, I can't say that.
Yeah.
Never mind. Pass.
Pass.
So at the same time, all this is happening. Elon Musk and Zuckerberg are supposed to fight.
Oh, you think that's a real thing?
Dude, Dana White's comment on this. They've apparently agreed to do this.
They're floating the idea.
They're floating the idea.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd pay. How much would you pay to watch them? Honestly,
bro, take my money.
Take it, all of it.
Pay-per-view. Name your price.
Yeah, honestly, $200. I pay.
Yeah, we will give you Haroon. Just let us watch.
We'll sacrifice
him. Haroon, you now work for them. But I'm telling you, I would pay for that, right?
Yeah.
So that could not have been a coincidence. And I don't know how this all plays out in this whole thing. But now, Elon Musk sends...
I think it's brilliant on Zuckerberg's part, man.
Sends Zuckerberg, X Corp sends Meta a cease and desist letter about Threads. And I don't know if it was Elon Musk or if it was Zuckerberg, but somebody put that shit on the interwebs and it was all over Threads, the entire cease and desist letter.
Right. If anything, it's only going to boost Threads even more.
It was fucking hilarious. I read the whole letter.
Yeah. On Threads or on Twitter?
On Threads.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I got to tell you.
-1.
Yeah.
Elon, come on now.
There's no bots on Threads so far. Everybody's growing at a rapid cadence. So if you're trying to grow,
right,
there's no quicker way. And with the new platform, it's a new exposure. It's a new way to move.
Right.
They don't use hashtags, so I don't know how they index. Now, Twitter does seem to index to Google better so far, but so if you have a Twitter account and you're a prominent figure and you Google someone's name like Ryan Reynolds or somebody who has a Twitter account, it'll actually show the last 3 or 4 tweets on the main page of Google because it indexes well with Google search engine. I don't think, at least I haven't seen so far, that Threads does that. They may do that as they update the algorithm for Google, and it'll create more visibility.
I'll say this, though. The name,
Threads?
I get it, but when you say, somebody tweeted this, right? What are you going to say for Threads? That kind of stuff matters.
Somebody stitched me, bro.
Stitch? They say that?
Yeah.
That's
no,
a thing?
I don't know. I just made it up.
Oh, my stitch?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Somebody popped a needle?
No. Give me something.
Well, here's the other problem is now if you signed up for Threads,
Mm-hmm.
fun fact, you can't delete your Threads account unless you delete your Instagram account.
Ooh, don't like that.
Gotcha.
Yahtzee, bitch.
Yeah, they baited you in. You don't like this shit? Well, you ain't leaving now, motherfucker.
Yeah, you locked in now.
Yeah, you here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, but can you delete your posts?
Yeah, you can delete all your posts.
Like
yeah.
you normally could on any social media
you
account?
could,
Okay. Well, I guess it's really going to boil down to, I know the biggest thing that Elon was harping on is, we're really big on freedom of speech on this platform. So if Zuck and them.
I don't think people care as much as he thought they did. I think that a lot of the journalists, a lot of the political commentary, a lot of the COVID commentary,
Well,
a
they
lot
didn't
of
want
those
any
things,
censorship.
Yeah, a lot of those things are on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you the one platform I have been attacked the most on is Twitter.
Yeah.
And generally for like the most, I've had a guy attack me because I didn't believe in Open Doors business model. Just fucking come after me.
Right.
I had another guy like pop off and make comments about, the bank stock and my acquisition of stock because I have to report because I'm a publicly traded, company. I'm a top 5 executive of that. So all my stuff's, visible.
Mm-hmm.
Never had that experience on Instagram. Never had that experience on any other platform.
Right.
It's just interesting to see. So there is some toxicity that I've seen on Twitter that I haven't seen on Threads. Threads so far has been like a resoundingly positive experience.
Okay.
But it's been 24 hours.
Let's give it some time.
Let's give it some time.
Let's let society
And let's let bots creep in
Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen.
and do what they do. Yeah, of course.
Right.
But during the first 4 or 5 hours, the thirst trap movement came down.
What do you mean?
Arun, are you familiar with the vernacular thirst trap?
Yeah.
What? I would love to have Odun break this down.
Please break
What
down.
is thirst trap?
And don't cheat code it.
Don't. Yeah, tell me right now before you look it up.
Don't look it up.
It's basically just setting someone up to fall for someone.
Ooh.
Catfish?
No.
It's not catfish, right?
No, that is
No,
not
you're
a thirst trap. A thirst trap is so people were going to Threads and they were posting like bikini photos or shirtless photos of themselves
Okay.
because they thought their body would get them more people to follow their profile in a singular act of desperation.
I see.
I'm a thirst trap. You're going to come to my profile because you want to see more TNA.
Ah,
Stands for teeth and assets.
a thirst trap. Oh, like a thought.
Go ahead. You want to read the
I gotta make sure. I gotta read this ahead of time.
I'm not reading the shit anymore on the show.
This had some. Okay,
Last
let's
one, you
see
guys
here.
almost got me.
A sexy photograph or flirty message posted on social media for the intent of causing others to publicly profess their attraction. This is done not to actually respond or satisfy any of this attraction, but to feed the poster's ego or need for attention at the expense of the time, reputation, and sexual frustration of those who view the image or reply. Hey guys, are these shorts too tight? Screw off with your thirst trap. Gotta love the examples.
Hey guys, are these calves too shiny?
Your shins. Your shins are very shiny. Here, let me help you out here.
Bro, doesn't that bother you? You got so much leg hair.
I love it.
And when you sweat, it sticks there.
It does not. I don't sweat. We good on that? Hour 13. Let me put this down. Dub. What do you got? What you got? Nothing?
I think that's where we should end the show.
That's where we should end the show. We're not even going to do the Fed minutes or anything, right?
No, Saied Omar, everybody does not sweat.
Do not sweat. Don't sweat the small stuff. And make sure you don't sweat the technique.
Please don't end the show like that. Give me something, anything.
Anything?
Arun, say anything, please.
Anything?
Say something. Arun, something. Give me something.
I haven't had sex in a very long time.
Whoa!
What?
Come on,
What was
Saied.
fuck?
Saied.
What was? Hey,
What
we're
the
leaving it on that.
shit?
We're leaving on that. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Oh my God.
Turn up.